Bitcoin is setting up currently a massive trap, and I'm here to tell you, don't fall for it. A huge short squeeze is just around the corner, and I will show you exactly from where we can expect that. And of course, I've prepared a lot of different charts and content for you here in this episode, so definitely don't miss out on that. And you know the drill, guys. Let's go. Thank you so much for being here on this Monday. It's crazy that it's already the 7th July. Yeah, I was really not thinking that the month will pass again that quickly by. So, but nonetheless, we jump directly into the charts here. The DXY is seeing here currently a small bounce to the upside, but I expect here in the coming hours a retracement once the market has completely digested all the information that came out Friday and over the weekend. So don't be scared about this. We can get short-term small bounces here, but overall the direction will remain to the downside. Now, on the CME chart, luckily, we did not get a huge CME gap. Here's a small one from $108,670 to $109,000. So there is like a $320 gap. We are most likely on the way to close that and then go straight back to the upside. And I'm going to show you that here in a moment too. Now on the weekly chart, we got what we were looking out for, and that was that bullish crossover here on the stochastic RSI, which means that we are now into a continuation move here for this week. And that's why I expect at some point during this week that we're gonna get an attempt or even a breakthrough $113,000, $114,000 and creating a new all-time high that could potentially also go way higher than just $113,000, $114,000. But this will be the first stop. Best case scenario is we get here above the 2.618 level, flip that into support, come here back a little bit, consolidate, and then we are ready for the next price discovery move. On the shorter time frames here on the 15 minutes, I had given you yesterday here that trade where I said if we break above $108,271, you can enter this here. We went all the way up here into the next major resistance of $109,700 approximately. I hope that you trade your stop loss along the way, otherwise you just round trip right now the whole trade, which is, it's okay, but you basically wasted here how much time since we broke? Almost 24 hours. So not optimal to be in such a short-term trade and round trip more or less here half of the trade. So I hope you were smart enough to raise your stop losses here into profit. You're stopped out, you're in profit, amazing. If not the end of the world. We will most likely come back to the entry, maybe even a little bit lower, then turn around and go higher from here, because on the RSI, we are getting here oversold. The stochastic is already on the bottom. The MACD is looking bearish, but that also means that we are close to the end of this overall move. I believe that this is just a liquidity grab and a small shakeout that we are currently seeing, because even on the higher time frames, we are already seeing signs here that we are potentially turning around in the next 2 hours. We came back here now in the trading range that we were in here over the weekend. We broke out of that yesterday, and now we are back into it slightly. So if we come here to like 108,000, again, $271, not the end of the world, that could be one major bounce level, because it was so long resistance here over the weekend. And if not, then as I just mentioned, we would come down one step lower, potentially even all the way down to $107,500, turn around, and then move here into the prior all-time high, because the indicators, again, they're all telling me we are really close to turn this thing here around. And as a potential trade, I would aim here something like this as a trade setup currently. And actually, yeah, so that looks good to me. Just with the entry level, use here the whole range that we were trading in over the weekend as an entry area where you DCA into your position. So every time when we go a little bit lower, you add more. So don't go directly all in with a trade position here. Ladder in to your position all the way down here to the bottom, and there you stop, and if it goes to a stop loss, okay, you're out. But personally, I would just re-enter then from there with the money that I've left. The risk reward ratio is definitely fine, and we're looking at 2.86% to the upside. So with 20x leverage, almost, yeah, it's over 52%, 55%, sorry, 55%, 57% actually, yeah, 57% profit here. Into the prior all-time high. If you want to take this trade, then do this on BloFin, guys. The more you trade, the higher the price that you can get here. For sure, you know, it's guaranteed that you get it if you hit here certain criterias. So you can get a Rolex watch, you can get AirPods, you can get Switch, you can get an iPhone 16 Pro Max, you can get a MacBook, you can get an Apple Vision Pro. So personally, I would be already qualifying right now for at least an iPhone 16 Pro Max. But I have an iPhone 16 Pro, so I don't have use for that. And I think I can even ask for the money instead. So yeah, definitely check that out. There is a link in the pin comment below and in the description below. It's non-KYC. I heard that some people in the US have problems, but I know also that some of you guys are in the US and trading there. So I don't know if you use a VPN or not. So I just put it out there, VPN might be the solution. You know, I'm not saying you should do it, but might be a solution. And also something that I don't want to forget to mention here, I will raffle away $500 to 5 people. Sign up between today and Sunday. Next Sunday, like the coming weekend Sunday, I'm gonna raffle $500 away between everybody that has signed up between yesterday and next Sunday. So also one more reason why you should sign up on BloFin. Now, on our daily chart, nothing has really changed here. We're just consolidating above the downward sloping trend line here of that bull flag on the top side. And that is actually extremely bullish for me, because that just means we are coiling up here for the next leg to the upside while we are flipping prior resistance. Because remember, here it was resistance, 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 here also resistance. Then we broke it, and now we are retesting this as support before we get the next major leg here to the upside. On the 4-hourly chart, also here, nothing really concerning. I said it many times, as long as we are staying close to the neckline of the overall trading range, the upper range here, we are fine. Also, as long as we are holding above the 50 moving average, we are fighting right now with the 20 moving average. But if we can hold above the 50, then we get immediate continuation. If we come down to the 50 moving average, we might consolidate here a little bit longer, but overall we're gonna still get that move here to the upside that I'm looking out for and that I'm gonna show you here in a second. So here on the MDX Algo scalp gradients, also here confluence that we could come down here to $107,750 approximately, because here is a small buy cluster. The candles are already heating up for a continuation move to the upside, as I also mentioned yesterday that I was expecting that. And the major thing that we need to look out for a continuation move is that we get above the daily open and the weekly open at $109,150 approximately. So once we're getting above there and close the 4-hourly candle above that level, expect massive expansion and the start of the short squeeze into a new all-time high. So here on the reactor indicator, also here nothing really major to see right now. We are basically just moving sideways until we are getting actually that short squeeze. So now I'm going to show you from where that short squeeze will be coming. So here, here you see again confluence. Once we are above $109,700, $800, we are starting to tap in high over leveraged short liquidity. And that will fuel that short squeeze that will most likely go all the way up to $111,000. In the short term, we could see first a quick move down here to $107,700 into the over leveraged liquidity on the long side, but then straight turnaround, as I mentioned, back to the upside. So if you see that, don't be surprised. Just another quick test of the 50 with a step below that, and then from there we are turning around. So why do I say that? Because on the liquidation heat map, we see here the highest concentration around $111,350. This will definitely get tapped here, in my opinion, this week. You see here on the lower end, here is a little bit liquidity on the long side. That is what I believe can be taken out here in the short term, just to scare people out of their positions, and because everybody will assume that we go lower then, and from there we'll actually turn around and take then here the high concentrated areas on the liquidation heat map. Now, in terms of the Bitcoin dominance, we chop here a little bit sideways, but sideways down, which is, again, for me, a really bullish sign. And if I would adjust here that line a little bit, no, not this one here, this one here. So there you see we have broken here this upward sloping trend line. So let me remove that so that you see it better. So here we had an upward sloping trend. Now that trend is broken, and that usually means the trend is your friend until the end, and that means the trend is now to the downside for the dominance. So here, be a little bit more patient. I'm really sure we're going to see here massive move in altcoins any given day. It can happen any given day. I give it a 2-week window. In that 2-week window, at some point, we're going to see that the dominance will crash to the downside. And if you want to trade altcoins, guys, then also don't forget, use Bybit. You get up to $30,000 if you use the link in the pin comment below and the description below and sign up and deposit bonuses. And if you have a European passport or residency, and you trade currently on Bybit.com, sign up on Bybit.eu with the same email address, because in the next coming months, they're gonna deactivate .com for everybody that has a European passport and lives in Europe. So you will be forced anyway to switch. So do it rather now than later and avoid any problems that you might get along the way. Plus that you anyway get also a sign-up bonus, a straight sign-up bonus if you do it actually right now. So and there's also a link in the pin comment below and in the description below for that. Now Ethereum put in the golden cross as expected. And if you follow me now here for a while already, I explain it every single time that I tell you guys, when we get a golden cross, price pulls back to the 200 or to the 50. Usually it's the 50 because the 50 is then already a little bit here going to the upside, pulls back, retests the 50, then we get another massive expansion move to the upside. I don't believe that it will be any different here. So just give this potentially another 12 hours. And I think then Ethereum could see another move here once we are breaking above $2,600 into higher level. Solana also beautiful chart here today. We got here a nice pump to the upside, broke this downward sloping trend line. Now we are consolidating here a little bit. On the 4-hourly, we look a little bit overextended, at least on a stochastic. The RSI also going to the downside, but I think the hourly, yeah, so here also really nothing. So we are just consolidating currently here between $153 and $150 approximately, and creating here a small bull flag. So the only problem that I have with that is the flag is soon longer than the pole, and then it is actually invalidated, and then it's just a small trading range that Solana is respecting right now. Personally, I would not trade that. That's like a 1% something range, unless you want to use insane leverage to scalp in between. But personally, I'm not interested in that currently. So yeah, but overall, we broke this downward sloping trend line, which should be also here a signal for you guys to get ready and to start building positions, because the next major expansion move is definitely also here in the works already to the upside. So I hope most of you are in here from $146, because you're then still 3% here in profit before we run up here all the way to $165. And this is Sui. Here Sui is still clinching onto the downward sloping trend line, but overall it is also broken already. So here I believe that the price action is just cooling down in terms of the indicators before we get the major leg here above $3. The first huge resistance is around $3.20 to $3.45. And if we break through that, then basically $4 is the next major target here. I would definitely wait for $2.96 to be broken to start building a position. But if you're a little bit more risk adverse, you can, as long as we are tagging here along that downward sloping trend line, also start building positions from there. But of course, I would chip in every time like 5% of the money that I have to start building that position. The longer we stay there, basically every 4-hour candle that we remain there, 5% more. And not more than 50%, of the money that you want to allocate. Because if it for some weird reason comes here down to $2.65, you want to have money left that you can then pounce with before it shoots back to the upside and dollar cost average your position down. Link, more or less the same thing, just that we moved a little bit away from that downward sloping trend line here already. Here, $13.84 is the level that we need to break for expansion. So that's something that I'm watching closely right now, especially here where the stochastic on the 1-hourly is already starting to flatline here. So here, Bitcoin only needs to start pushing back to the upside, initiating a short squeeze, and everything else will basically fly with it to the upside. That's why I'm telling you guys, you need to get ready, prepare yourself, because we're not far away anymore from this huge move here. So here for render, we are potentially coming back to touch the upward sloping trend line here of this ascending triangle. That was the word that I was looking for, ascending triangle. If we are getting here a touch of the upward sloping trend line, that would be for me a sign to add to my position. I have personally started to build one from here. And every time when we get to the trend line again, I keep adding to my position, because here by latest by Sunday, I see a breakout here in direction of $3.87, $4 for render. And the last one is hype. So here I keep adding to my position every single time when we are here in between the golden pocket. Now we are slightly below that, but we're sitting here above a major support level. I don't believe that we go much lower here on the 1 hourly chart. Also, again, signs that we are about to bottom out here. Give it another hour or two, and then I see us here somewhere around the $40 mark with an overall technical target. I think it's $44.56. So here also huge ascending triangle forming, which should also break out worst case by Wednesday at some point. So here, that is actually a trade that might break out really soon and has over 10% target here to the upside. If you, actually even more if you entered from the golden ratio. Let me pull this down a little bit. So now we are looking at, okay, almost 12%. Yeah, guys, that's it already for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you with more money tomorrow.